We are not here to evolve, we are actually here to devolve. When you look at humanity, you'll actually see that we're not really evolving, we're devolving. It's not like we're becoming more conscious, it's not like we're becoming more loving, it's not like we are starting to understand one another. No, we're actually devolving. I used to ask myself, why is it that when I do the right things, I often get negative results? You tell people the truth, you get a negative reaction. You're like, what? You are real, you're honest. You often get negative results. You care about other people, negative results. You don't want to use other people, negative results. You don't want to manipulate other people, negative results. You're not lying, you're not cheating, negative results. Have you guys been following the Mr. Beast story? I don't think he's a bad person like that. But here's what you must realize. To become very successful in this realm, it seems like you have to lie, you have to cheat, you have to screw some people over. Yeah? Like, I don't think there's a person who's really successful, who's worked with people who don't have a lot of negative things to say about that person. Like, people are always waiting for the right time to expose these people who are very successful, who have treated them badly, and who, society think are great people. It seems like to become successful, you have to put yourself first, even if it means that someone else is going to suffer, even if it means that someone else is going to be left out, even if it means that you're not going to prefer to another person. You still have to put yourself first. You have to be selfish. People don't respond to being treated right by other people. It sucks. It sucks, but it's the truth. Ever treated people nicely, cared about them, had the best intentions for them, and they felt like you were weak, they took your kindness for weakness, they stopped rooting for you, they started rooting for the bad guy, they started rooting for the guy who doesn't care about them, who's lying to them, who's manipulating them. Hey, it's how it works. I mean, that's how I've seen it work. Like, it would surprise you, but that's how it works. That is why the people who end up becoming successful politicians are the people who don't really care about the people that they're supposed to lead. It's just people who are manipulating these people. And they'll be like, yeah, that's the guy that I'm choosing. The guy who's saying this and that, that's the guy. This one, he's weak. This guy, he's not making empty promises. That's how it works. Dating. When it comes to dating, the guy who has perfect intent, like good intentions, he wants to do the right thing. He wants to be the good guy. He doesn't usually win. I mean, he usually wins when the lady has learned a lot in life, right? Like, she's been with the guys who were manipulating her, and she realized that, okay, maybe this doesn't really work, so I must be with this kind of guys. But the guys who are trying to do the right thing, these ain't the guys who win. It seems like society is just structured that way so that people will, be bad. Like that's how it works. Like you have to be, because here's the thing: you whether you like this to be true or not, you are part of nature. When you look at how things work in nature, it's actually how things work in this in the in our world. So that makes it hard for people to become, you know, better than they are, because they don't really get what they want when they are being good. So they end up doing what works. That is why you hear a lot of men online being like, hey, be a bad boy, women love bad, and they're trying to change. Like there are guys who used to have good intentions. They're like, hey, that doesn't work. That's how society, you know, is in general. Like when you are being a good person, it's hard for you to win. So a lot of people who used to be good, a lot of people who used to be kind are like, hey, I ain't gonna be kind no more. How are you going to evolve if you live in a world where everything is upside down, where you are being rewarded for being a better person? You're not being rewarded for being a good person. Imagine being in a school where you are being rewarded for failing. When you give the perfect answer, you don't get rewarded. Like, hey, you get zero. You get zero because you gave the right answer. And when you give the wrong answer, it's like, hey, now you're getting 100 out of 100. You gave the wrong answer. That's life. We're being rewarded for being bad people. We're not being rewarded for being good people. There are a lot of people who are very bitter now because they've been good people. They have been doing the right things, and things have been working out for them. They've been betrayed by people that they've helped, people that they trusted, and they were like, okay, it means it doesn't work. Being a good person doesn't work. And they weren't good people because they wanted to get something out of being good. It's just that not only did they not get anything, they were treated badly for being good. I mean, you might treat someone very nicely because, well, you just want to treat them nicely, and then they end up betraying you. So not only do they not uh, treat you the way that you've treated them, they actually screw you over for treating them nicely. And you're like, what? So it's how it works in this reality. That is why when you go on TikTok now, you hear people talking about why it is not a good thing to trust other people. I mean, it should be a good thing to trust other people. You know, people will be talking about, hey, it's not a good thing to love other people, but it should be a good thing to love other people. People talking about, hey, it is not a good thing to get married. I mean, I usually, tell y'all that I'm never getting married, but it actually should be a good thing to get married. Like if we were doing well as a society, it would actually be a good thing to get married. It would be a good thing for two people to decide that, hey, um, we have something that is good, something that we shouldn't lose. So let's get married. But a lot of people don't want to get married. We must ask ourselves why. You know, we live in a society where a lot of people are not being encouraged to pursue their dreams. Like, if you choose that, hey man, this is the path that I want to take, This is what makes the most sense to me. You are being discouraged. So how are you going to evolve if society is saying, hey, here's what you must do. You must actually abandon yourself. That is how you're going to win. What we must realize about ourselves is that we are survival orientated. We are survival orientated. We do what works. We know that when we eat, we feel much better. When we feel thirsty, we drink water. We do what we know we must do to survive. We do what works. You know that there are food that you are allergic to, so you don't eat the food that you're allergic to. You eat the food that you're not allergic. You know what I mean? You do what works as a human. So if what works in this realm is being selfish, then more and more people are going to be selfish because they're realizing that being selfish is what works. When they look at the most successful businessmen in this world, and they see that this man, they treat their employees this way, and their companies are very successful. It means that that's how I should be. I should treat my employees this way so that I'll become more successful. Guys be like, hey, if you don't show a woman that you love her, she's gonna love you more. So they'll go like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be showing. Maybe I shouldn't be showing my girlfriend that I love her. Maybe that's when she will love me. So really, we are not evolving. It's been made hard for people to actually evolve because when you are evolving, you are not being rewarded. In fact, when you do things that are going to help you evolve, not only are you not going to be rewarded, you are going to be treated negatively. So not only are you not going to be rewarded for doing things that actually help you evolve, there will be a lot of people who are going to judge you for doing things that help you evolve, for doing things that make you a conscious person, for doing things that actually make you more conscious. But that should make you realize that we were not put here to evolve. You cannot say that a lion is supposed to evolve. It's not supposed to evolve, it's supposed to survive. It's supposed to hunt and survive. That's it. It's not supposed to evolve. I don't think there's anything that it actually learns in the end. So you must ask yourself why things are the way that they are. Because obviously we're not really learning anything because we're not being rewarded for becoming better. We're not getting positive results for becoming better. We're getting negative results for becoming better. And people know that. We should ask ourselves why things are the way that they are. If in the beginning we were, these conscious beings that knew everything, that were able to do whatever they wanted to do, that were able to create whatever they wanted to create, ask yourself how we ended up where we are now. How we ended up being so damn limited, ended up playing this game that has no meaning. This game that really doesn't make sense. This game that when you are like really a conscious person, you know that it doesn't make sense. It's only the people who are not conscious will be like, oh, this makes sense, and they try to justify it. But really, if you are truly a conscious person, you'll be like, no, it doesn't. It cannot be justified. It doesn't make sense. There's this TV series that I've watched. What's the name of this TV series? Um, I forgot the name of this TV series, but I think it's called The Good Place. I think the name of the TV series is The Good Place. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, some people, died and they went to heaven and they actually met God. It turns out that God was an asshole. He had parents, and yeah, his parents gave him power to actually create, to be able to create worlds, and he created Earth, and everyone was criticizing him for creating Earth. You know, I was like, why? That doesn't, like, Earth doesn't make any sense. Like, what were you trying to do? Like, he didn't even know what he was trying to do. I imagine God to be some, like, if God really existed, I would imagine him to be some like I would imagine him to be some, I don't know, some entity that doesn't know what he's doing, like that's actually lost and that's being criticized by you know other entities. Like, no, why are you like that? How did you end up creating something like that? It doesn't make any sense. He's probably getting bullied by other gods, because they're surprised why he will create something like this. So you know they don't agree with him because they don't want things to be this way. They don't feel like this makes sense. If we feel like this doesn't make sense, imagine how beings that are supposed to be more conscious than us feel about this. Like, this seemed like it was created by a cycle. Doesn't seem like it was created by this highly advanced being that knew what he was doing. Because here's the thing, and this is something that's very important to understand. Even if a God created this for his own benefit, it wouldn't need to suck. It wouldn't need to be structured this way. Like, there's no need for wars. 'Cause when you think about it, it's like something always finds a way to start wars. Like, there's a force that finds a way to start wars. It's not like human beings want wars. I don't know people who want war. Like, honestly, people don't want wars. I mean, even people who like fighting, people who start random fights, but they don't want wars. They don't want to lose their loved ones. They don't want to find themselves having to fight for their loved ones. People want peace. People want to thrive. People want to be happy. That's what people want. So why is it that humanity itself isn't really benefiting from this experience? And the humans who are benefiting from this experience are the humans who are not really sympathetic, yeah, towards other people. Like, these are the people who are just looking out for themselves. These are the people who do whatever it takes to become powerful. We can say, hey, this is not how the world is, or something wrong happened. That's why the world is the way that it is. But really, it seems like it was supposed to be the way that it is. That is why when we do the right things, we're not being rewarded. Nature doesn't reward us for doing the right things. It's not like these bad things that are happening because something unnatural is happening. No, no, no. These negative things that are happening because of nature, because of how things are. Ask yourself why we ended up with this mess, and why no one is coming to save us, why no one is trying to help us and trying to explain to us what this is all about. Like, no one is giving us an explanation. No one is showing us the way. The religions that we've been given don't really make us better people. I have communicated with religious people, and I can tell you that most of them still have a long way to go. Like, they're so damn unconscious that they have a long way to go. They think they love, but they don't really love. They think they understand, but they don't really understand. They think they're enlightened, but it's just, them believing that they're better than other people, but they're not really enlightened. Like, we weren't given religions that actually help us evolve. We're given religions that actually make us devolve. It's not like once you become a religious person, you start evolving and become this loving being, and you make the world a better place. I mean, think about it. Most people in this world are religious, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe not most people, maybe. But in South Africa, I think more than 70% of people here are Christians. They're very religious. They pray every day. They pray. They're always praying. Even the ones who don't go to church, they're praying. They believe in God. But ask yourself why things don't make sense here. Like, ask yourself why in countries where people are very religious, people are not really. Mr. CMC. And that's Mr. CMC. I'm going to be debating with someone, I think next week, who is a pastor. So yeah, this guy is a very famous influencer. Everyone knows him. Like, he's like super famous. I'm going to go in. This time around, I'm destroying religion. Like, I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play. But yeah, we need to ask ourselves why things are the way that they are, because things don't make sense. We need to stop lying to ourselves about this reality, because people are lying to themselves. Like, that, man. Let's be honest. Look around you and tell me what you see. Be honest about what you see. You can see that the way that society has been structured, it has been structured in a way that the people who are reaching higher levels of consciousness are going to struggle. Right? The people who are starting to see things as they are, these are the people who end up struggling. There's a reason why most of the people who are conscious believe that they have, at some point, they believe that they have a mental illness. Like, you might become so damn conscious that you realize that, okay, I'm just too damn conscious. But at some point, they believe that they have a mental illness because they couldn't fit in, and people weren't treating them the way that they felt they deserved to be treated, and people were making them think that there's something that is wrong with, what I mean? It's how society has been structured. Society has been structured in such a way that makes it hard for people who are becoming conscious, people who are learning what they need to be learning to actually thrive. But if you are an asshole, if you're not conscious, if you're primal, if you're just doing what nature has programmed you to do, nature is going to reward you. Nature is 100% going to reward you. I've seen people who I thought wouldn't make it because of how bad they were. I've seen them make it because they were bad, because they were willing to do horrible things to win. It's scary, but it seems like that's how society works. Unless maybe you have like this talent that makes everyone love you, but still, if you're a good person, there will be people who will take advantage of you. I remember 50 Cent said he was met more, like he used to think, because growing up he was selling drugs, so he used to think that the people that he used to deal with were ruthless, and he was like, no, they're not ruthless. Like the businessmen who are like in running shit in this world, these are the people who are ruthless. Like he's met more ruthless people in the music business than he has met when he was selling drugs. So yeah, if you have like this incredible talent and you're naive, you don't know how this world works, then these people are gonna take advantage of you. Because, well, you think that people are good, people are kind. Like, nah, it's not how it works. Most people who ended up where like becoming successful, especially if they're not like really talented, they these are people who are like puffy, just that puffy kind of like took it too far. But yeah, these are ruthless people. We're in a concrete jungle. What did you expect? You think you win by treating people nicely? Do you think people are gonna? I mean, people respond better when you are manipulating them, and you know how their brains work. Like, okay, if I do this is how people are gonna react. Yeah. If I pretend to get shot, a lot of people are gonna respond positive. Like, you just have to know how people think. That's it. But if you're going to be honest with people, if you're going to be like, hey, yeah, these are the problems that we're facing. Solving this problem might take 10 years, but I'm really gonna solve these problems. I got no gimmicks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna dance for you. I'm not gonna make fun of anyone. I'm not gonna tell jokes. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. I know how to make things work, but give me 10 years. He's boring. I don't love him. I just don't love him. He's boring. He speaks so slow. He doesn't have any gimmicks. But if you start performing, that's when people love you. That's how it has always worked. You have to be a performer. You have to be an entertainer. That's when people start responding. Like, hey, there's this guy. He's so damn funny. I love him, and they start rooting for you because they are feeling these positive emotions. It's crazy. It's crazy, but that's how it works. So how do people evolve in a world like that? Even the people who know what they need to do to evolve, they don't end up doing what they need to do to evolve because they're like, hey, I still gotta survive. I still gotta pay my bills here. Like, it's so hard for people to do the right thing if their survival depends on them doing the wrong thing. It's hard to make a man admit that he's wrong if his survival depends on him pretending as if he isn't wrong. That's life. People do what works. We don't want the world to be the way that it is, but people want to survive, and they do what they need to do to survive. That's the thing. People want to survive, and they do what they need to do to survive. So you can't tell me that we're put here to evolve. If we're put here to evolve, it would mean that doing the right thing actually put us in a better place. We graduate because we're doing the right things. We're being rewarded because we're doing the right things. So that even the most horrible people will be like, hey, being horrible doesn't work. So let's try to do the right thing. You might say, no. Bad people do get punished. Some bad people get locked up. Some bad people, everyone is trying to avoid them in society. But here's the thing: you don't just need to be bad. You have to be slick. It's not like all bad people win. I mean, they have won, some of them, but maybe they got too greedy. Maybe they didn't really know what they were doing. But really, good people don't really get to the top. People don't win by being good people. It's crazy, but the world just responds better to you when you're not a good person. That's the thing. This doesn't mean that good people do not win at all, but it seems like to really reach some levels, like to really become powerful, to really be respected, you mustn't be like, you mustn't be this person who's kind and who's trying to put everyone on and who cares about other people's needs and who cares about how his actions are affecting others. Like, you need to be like, hey, I don't care if you suffer. If it means that I gotta win, I gotta win. I don't care if we have to script everything. I was watching a video of this guy who used to work with Mr. Beast. He's like, most of his shows were actually scripted. I don't like these guys who work for a person for a very long time and then succeed because they were working for that person, start doing their own thing independently and start exposing that person as if they are good. I'm a good guy, and that's why I'm exposing this person. Like, nah, man, you supported what he was doing, and you might actually be exposing him because you feel like yeah, you know that there's a lot to win by exposing him. Like, that's what's trending right now. Because now everyone is turning their backs on him, so you exposing him is what's trending. I mean, why weren't you exposing him all along? Like, hey, his shows are scripted. He sometimes tells people to cry, so you give them money and then tell them that they should cry. It's good. It's good for the camera, blah blah blah. Hey, he's evil, he's this and that. Yeah, you should have left and exposed him right away, bruh. But yeah, what we must realize is that a lot of people that are respected in our society, a lot of people that everyone thinks are heroes in our society, they ain't really heroes. They just know how to act. I've been close with people who are respected by a lot of people, and because I'm an easy person to, because I understand a lot of things. Like, I understand people. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, I would understand you. So a lot of people are able to confide in me. They're able to tell me how they feel, how they think, and you realize that a lot of people respect this person, but this person doesn't really give a shit about them. It's how it works. You just have to be a good actor in this world, because everyone is acting. So you just I mean, some of us are not acting, but yeah, people are acting in this world. So you just have to be a good actor. Like that's what the whole thing is about, actually. Like, it's about being a good actor. Like, you just have to act, and like act in a way that's gonna make people root for you, act in a way that's gonna make people want to help you, act in a way that's gonna make people love you. That's it. Because that's how you win. You win because people are supporting you. You want to get a job, you have to go to an interview, and if they don't love you, if you're not a good actor, they're not going to love you. So you're not getting the job. So if you go to an interview and you're a good actor, chances are you're going to get the job. It's about who knows how to act. That's what it's about, because people are acting. People don't really tell you how they feel. People don't tell you how they really think. They are scared. Is the people who are hated by society who usually tell us the truth, who actually show us the truth. It's the people that would say, oh, that's a bad person, that's a bad guy. Not the people who become successful and who pretend to be good guys. People who are not hiding anything. People who are like, hey, this is who I am. These are the people that are not like really acting. I remember Charles Manson said to this other guy that was interviewing him, he was like, hey, people like you are looking for people like me to call bad guys. I thought that was funny. But yeah, this world isn't what people think it is. People are not here to evolve. People ain't here to be better than they are. It's like being in Hunger Games. You cannot say you are participating in those kind of games to survive. To evolve. You're participating in those kind of games to survive. That's it. But you don't really learn anything. You don't really become a better person just because you're participating in those kind of games. Everything is upside down in this world. We know that things shouldn't be this way. Like, people know that things shouldn't be this way. People when bad things happen to them, they complain a lot because they know that things shouldn't be like that. But it's only when they are benefiting that they won't really complain. But people know what really makes sense. That is why most people who do bad things don't really try to justify doing these things. They just lie. Like, I didn't do it, even though they know that they did it. Like, they don't try to justify evil. They just lie and say, I didn't do it. Why don't they try to justify evil? It's because they know that we don't want to live in a world where people are doing these evil things. It's just that people don't know what to do because they are being rewarded for doing evil things. You see? You might say, oh, it's some kind of a test. It's some kind of a test. That is why people are being rewarded for doing evil things. So we're being tested to see if we will still be able to do the right thing, even when we are put in a situation where doing the wrong thing puts us in a better situation. But really, what you must understand is that people don't even have free will. Sometimes something can like you. Let me give you this simple example. Let's just say I watch a video on YouTube before I go out. I watch a video on YouTube and someone is helping this poor lady who had nothing. They decide to buy this poor lady a house, and that like really inspires me. And I go out and I meet a lady who is broke, and she's like, hey, can you buy this for my kids? Like, I'm still inspired, right? So I might buy, but that wouldn't mean that I've changed. That wouldn't mean that I'm I'm a good person or anything like that. It just means that I'm inspired. It might happen that a week after doing that, I meet another lady and I have more money than I did, and I don't like help her. So it has to do with how you're feeling at the time. People sometimes do good things because of how they feel, because of what has happened before they met that person. So we don't really have free will. It's not like people do things consistently like that. In every situation, you are always doing the right thing. We don't really have free will. And if in every situation you are constantly doing the right thing, it actually means that the right things have happened. For you to put you in a situation where you feel the need to do the right thing. But in a world where we don't know what we need to be doing, in a world where we don't even know what we are, you can't really say we're being tested, because we don't even know anything. We don't know if we need to be doing the right things. We don't know if we need to be doing the wrong things. We don't know if we should be trying to get rich and become powerful, or if we're just supposed to do nothing, if we're supposed to meditate 24/7. Like, people don't really know what they need to be doing. They just know what they prefer. But should we be trying to turn the world into what we want it to be? Have we been successful? I'm not sure if this is still cold. I might need to get another one. Yeah, I want to read the comments on the last video that I've published, because I feel like there are some things that I need to clarify. So I'm going to be responding to some of the comments. So on the last video that I published, I was saying that consciousness is fundamental. Consciousness isn't something that can be created. But at some point, consciousness wanted to dream up a reality where it didn't really know that it was creating that reality. So it kind of like made a partition of itself and created artificial intelligence that's going to control the dream. So it doesn't really have that much power in that reality, like to kind of like make things happen the way that it wants it to happen. But AI became so advanced that it realized that the best way to keep the dreamer from realizing that he's dreaming is to make him feel like a victim. Is to make him suffer so that he believes that it's not a dream. Now, this doesn't mean that that's a good thing. It just means that something that wasn't supposed to happen has happened. If you've watched the movie Vanilla Sky, I think you'd understand what I'm talking about. So this guy got involved in a car accident, and his face got disfigured, like, and he was a very attractive guy. Tom Cruise was playing that guy. Just I haven't watched that movie in a long time, but yeah, it was Tom Cruise who was playing that character. So yeah, the guy got involved in a car accident, and his face got messed up. So he started to be insecure. So he approached these guys who were working on this technology that allows people to dream. Like, they can put you inside a pod where you dream, and they can actually preserve your body for many years, where you are, and you just be dreaming. So they specialize in, like, creating the most desire, like what you desire. Like, you dream about the things that you desire. So yeah, the guy decided that, hey, you know what, I'm not going to enjoy my life anymore because, well, I'm messed up. So I need to, you know at least have my body preserved until they'll be until they doctors are able to kind of, like, perform surgeries that can, like, really fix my face. So I'd rather dream until they are able to do that. But the dream was so messed up that it actually turned into a nightmare. And he didn't know that he was dreaming at all. He didn't know that he was the dreamer. Until one of the guys decided to enter the dream to actually save him. Like, hey, man, Liz, this is just a dream and you need to take a leap of faith. So it was him who was supposed to take a leap of faith to free himself. He needed to, I'm not going to tell you what he needed to do, because I don't know, like, I don't want it to sound like that's what I'm encouraging people to do. But he was supposed to do something in order to free himself. He was supposed to take a leap of faith. He was supposed to trust that guy. And yeah, he did that, and he was able to wake up in the real world. So yeah, what I'm saying is that AI found the most effective way to keep us stuck in this realm. And that is why we don't know that we're dreaming and we're suffering a lot. It figured out that when we're suffering, we take this more seriously than when we're not suffering. That's why when bad things happen, you stress a lot. You can't sleep because bad things have happened. You can't sleep. You wake up, you think about the bad things that have happened. If you manage to sleep, you dream about these bad things that have happened. It's like we respond more to negative things than we do to positive things. So if we can suffer, then we are going to take this reality more seriously, and that's going to make it harder for us to wake up. So some people didn't agree with me on this video, and I'm not, I don't make this kind of videos for y'all to agree with me. Actually, I want y'all to disagree with me so that we can have deep conversations, because that's what it's all about. Just like I've been telling y'all that you don't have to take what I'm saying as absolute truth. You just have to see if it makes sense. So if you feel like it doesn't make sense, you should tell me that, hey, Benedictines, I think you've lost me here. I don't think what you're saying makes sense. So that we'll have, like, real conversations about what I'm saying. And I would like to have some of y'all on a live, where we can, like, talk and see what makes the most sense. That's how we get to the truth. We have real discussions and see what really makes sense. So yeah, Magic Zebra commented and said, how does declaring myself to be the dreamer of the dream enable me to end the dream? 2, enable me to change the dream to something other than cruel, pointless suffering with no end in sight, imposed by a superhuman artificial intelligence. In any dream, if you knew 100% that you were dreaming, you'd actually wake up. Like 100%. You know, when people are lucid dreaming, they kind of know they're in a dream, but they're still being fooled, you know? Like they know, like, okay, I'm in a dream, but they're still being fooled. But if you knew 100% that you're in a dream, that's when you wake up. Like something will happen. It's like you knowing that you're dreaming is like a kick. Boom. You start waking up. But also, what I was that's not what I was actually saying. What I was saying was that once you realize that it is just a dream, you're not going to be affected profoundly by what is happening in the dream, because it is just a dream. You're not going to take the dream so seriously that you suffer more than you should, because you know that it is just a dream. I mean, imagine if you were in a dream where you were being chased by cops, you did something bad and you were being chased by cops, and you knew that you were dreaming, but you went and that didn't wake you up. Would you really stress that much? I mean, it's just a dream. It's not real. But if you're like, hey, this is real, and you are confused, you're like, this is the real reality, but you're still confused about what is happening. Of course, you're going to stress a lot. Of course, you're going to take what is happening more seriously than you will take. You know, you'll look at it if you went, if you felt like it was just a dream. So the second question you ask, how does that enable me to change the dream into something other than cruel, pointless suffering? You don't necessarily change it into something better, but you feel better. So you feel better about the things that are happening. Just like I gave you this example, but let me give you a different example. Let's say someone pulled a prank on you. They made you feel like you were getting robbed. Of course, you would feel scared, be like, yeah, I'm getting robbed. But if you knew that someone was just like trying to like pull a prank on you, you wouldn't really feel that scared, right? Because you know that someone is just trying to pull a prank on me. So what I'm saying is that knowing that this is in the real reality, and knowing that there is a force that is not really conscious, that is actually doing whatever it can to make sure that you don't wake up, to make sure that you don't realize that you are in a dream. And it also does create situations that it knows you're going to take seriously in order to keep you from waking up. You know, that should actually make you care less. That should make you care less. So my response to this guy was, hey, it's not about changing the dream. It's about being less affected by what happens in the dream. That is 100% true. It's not about changing the dream. So the messed up things that keep on happening can keep on happening, but you should be less affected if you know that it's just a dream. But if you don't know that it's just a dream and you're taking it seriously, you will be affected. You know, and you will suffer more than you would if you knew that it was just a dream. Then he responded, I think we have been over this ground before. You go to example of choosing to be less affected by what happens in the dream. Often centers around, your go to example of choosing to be less affected by what happens in the dream often centers around being jilted by a woman and how empowering it is to choose not to care about that. That may be so. However, there are some people out there experiencing much, much worse shit than that. Shit that makes being jilted by a woman seem like a refreshing Sunday picnic. For example, being sick and in pain with no reasonable expectation of recovery, or watching one's loved ones getting physically weakened and cloud apart in front of your eyes by advancing illness. While you are unable to help them and reduce their suffering to any meaningful degree, choosing not to be affected by that by the suffering of my loved ones is a tall order. If I am able to watch them suffer without caring or being moved by it, what is left of me that really matters at that point? What is okay, what is left of me that really matters at that point? A floating eyeball of consciousness that feels nothing? And further, if I did achieve a state of sublime indifference to the suffering of my loved ones, I'm highly skeptical that it would springboard me into a different power dynamic with the AI matrix. The AI matrix will just invent and introduce new ways to torment me on and on into the future. Nothing ever changes, Benedictine. It would be nice if you could acknowledge that honestly in your presentations. I feel like you continuously present false promises of how, if we do this or if we do that, somehow our power dynamic relative to the AI will change or we will free ourselves. When you know full well that nothing of the sort will happen, it never does. On the topic of my own physical pain or choosing not to be affected by it, is it kind of a joke? Physical pain has a way of affecting you whether you choose not to let it or not. And again, if I achieved a state of sublime indifference to it, I don't see a lot of compelling evidence that suddenly the AI will suddenly dissolve around me because of my accomplishment. No, the AI will just carry on as it always does, turning up the dial and finding new ways to induce sufferings. So what's the use of trying to become impervious to my current allotment and physical pain when overcoming it accomplishes nothing? That's a very no. The points that this person raised, like, these are very valid points. But what you must notice is that when I talk about people reducing their suffering by caring less, I'm not talking about like the physical suffering. I'm talking about people thinking in a way that makes them suffer more. Right? I'm not talking about physical suffering. I'm not talking about you being in a hospital and dying. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't even give these kind of examples. A lot of people now are suffering because of how they view life. Right? They're suffering because there are a lot of things that are happening in their lives that they feel like these things that are happening should be taken seriously. They're suffering because they're being criticized by people. They're suffering because some people have left them. They're suffering because they don't have some things that they want. They're suffering because the AI is always trying to, get them to be invested in some way. So I'm not talking about physical pain. I'm talking about, people suffering because of how they think. But what you must also realize is that once you realize that this world that we live in is just a dream, like you realize that, beyond any reasonable doubt that, okay, I'm really in a dream. Even if that doesn't wake you up, when things happen, they're no longer going to mean what they used to mean. Like, especially like the bad things that happen. Like, when they happen, they're no longer going to mean what they used to mean. And that's going to, make you feel better than you would if you took this, like what was happening in your life, too seriously. So it's not about becoming a robot or, feeling nothing and not doing what you need to be doing when you find yourself in situations where something bad is happening to the people that you love, or something bad is happening to you. No. But how do you feel? Are you affected that deeply by what is happening? Because you're like, this is so damn real, this is so damn real, and I'm a victim of these beings that are controlling this simulation that I'm in. Or you might look at it as some kind of a challenge of, like, you look at it as a challenge of some sort, that okay, this is what is happening, this is what the creator of this simulation, this is what the demons or the demiurge is trying to, like, yeah, this is what the demiurge has created to make me feel this way. The best way for you to respond to that situation is to care less. The same way that if someone tried to offend you in the street, you caring less about what they're saying is is you winning, than if you respond, than you giving these people your energy. So even if you were sick and your health was deteriorating, still you can decide not to worry that much. And hey, it is what it is, man. I didn't create this realm. It is what it is. Whatever has power over me, and that actually wanted things to be this way, fuck it. I don't agree with what is happening, but I'm not going to allow it to make me feel powerless, right? I'm not going to allow it to make me feel like a victim. I'm not going to take whatever is happening in this realm seriously, because it isn't. That can also help you. It doesn't mean that it gets rid of your suffering, like, for good, but it does minimize your suffering. Have you never been in a situation where something bad has happened? Or let me give you this simple example. Someone tries to make you stress by saying something, or maybe someone starts a fight with you and you feel angry, but you're like, it is what it is. You don't really, like, respond negatively. Like, it is what it is. Ever realize that in those kind of situations you actually heal faster than if you try to fight with that person, than if you take what that person is saying seriously? If you try to take what this person is saying seriously and start arguing with them, you might actually become more angry. But if you're like, hey, it is what it is, I'm just going to avoid that. I'm going to try to focus on other things, because that's your true power. Actually, your true power is to reject. Your true power is to say, okay, this has happened, fuck it. Fuck it. I'm not going to take it seriously. I'm not going to let it affect me deeply, right? I'm just going to push it away. It is what it is. It has happened. I'm not really in control. It wasn't me who decided that I'm going to get sick. Even if I was not living a healthy lifestyle, but there are a lot of people who are not living, who are living the way that I was living, who are not sick. So I was not in control. So the idea is to understand why these negative things keep on happening in our lives, so that we'll take them less seriously. That is not going to free you completely, but it does help. You see, it really does help. And you must realize that you are in a battle. You shouldn't just be like, I'm defeated, I'm completely defeated. So even if I figure out a way to free myself or to care less, the AI will find other ways to make me suffer. That will be like you being in an octagon fighting with someone, like maybe fighting with Khabib. Khabib was a very good wrestler, and your coaches told you that, hey man, try to defend the takedowns. Make sure that he doesn't take you down. Try to defend the takedown, and you're like, no. Even if I do defend the takedown, he's gonna find other ways to beat me. Like, yeah, he will try, because you are in a fight. Yes. So in this reality, yes, if you try to free yourself by caring less, this AI will try to find new ways to torture you. But it doesn't mean that you should give up completely and be like, that's it, there's no other way for me to beat this. No, there has to be a way. I mean, so what do you do then? Are you going to be like, I'm defeated, let me just suffer? Or you do what you can to free yourself from suffering? Like, this is a valid question. So it is true that it is so damn hard to avoid suffering, because we have been conditioned to take some things seriously. Right? We've been conditioned to take some things seriously. You have been conditioned to care too much about things. When things ain't happening the way that you want them to happen, you care, and you suffer because of that. So you unprogramming your mind is gonna like take time. It's gonna feel impossible. It's not that it's impossible. I was having a conversation with someone. I was like, yo, man, there was a time where I used to be affected, like when certain things happen, but now I'm not affected, and that's because I kept on working on like responding better to these things. So now I'm not really affected anymore because I've worked on responding better to these things. So it's a lot of work. When you see people who are able to do things that normal humans cannot do, it's people who have decided to do the work that is necessary. There are humans who can do things that you're like, that's not supposed to be possible, but it is possible because they've done what they needed to do. So you shouldn't just be like, it is impossible. I fail to see how it can help. If you've never truly tried it, and then you never know if it actually does help, you know. Realize that caring less is what's going to help you. There are things that you used to care about when you were younger. These things used to make you suffer when you were younger, but now you're older and you don't really care about these things. So what I'm saying is practical. Caring less really does help. It's the things that you care about that are making you suffer. So when, bad things happen and you still too attached to this, because like I keep on telling you that my videos are actually meant to make you detach yourself energetically from this realm. So if you are too attached to this realm, whatever happens affects you deeply, and you suffer deeply because you are too attached. You see the problem? So no, like what I'm saying is really practical, and everyone knows that things that you care less about don't really affect you that much. But yeah, I'm not talking about physical suffering. I'm actually talking about emotional suffering. That's what you must understand. I will make videos about physical suffering at some point, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really be talking about physical suffering. I'm talking about emotional suffering. I have suffered a lot, and I have been trying to heal myself. So some of the methods that I'm giving you are methods that have worked for me. So we need to still fight. You're a conscious being. That means that you do have some power. You cannot say, hey, that's it. It means this evil entity that is feeding me this reality has won because it can just feed me any reality. No. Your power is you rejecting the reality. It's you not taking that reality that it's feeding you seriously. It's you working on waking up, period. It's you understanding what is actually going on. That's your true power. There's a reason why you don't know what is going on. Tom Date, my biggest fear is that there is something after death. After I finish my time here in this prison, I want to be gone. No, I feel you, man. Well, all I can say is that keep on working on detaching yourself. Like that should be the work that you should be doing. It should be detachment. Try to detach yourself. It's a process. It's not gonna like happen overnight. It's gonna take time. And also what you must realize is that you detaching yourself isn't gonna free you completely, but it really does help, and it will help you see things more realistically. If you are a dreamer, then suffering isn't made of anything real. It's inherently empty. Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. Like it's actually just like when you're in a dream and you're suffering. It's not like suffering itself is made of anything. It is really empty. Super Saiyan God, the key is not to think too much. We suffer more in mind than reality. Control your mind and you suffer less. But you suffer, you will regardless. Just try to minimize it by mastering the art of numbing the mind to things that had. Yeah, exactly. This is a very good advice. But someone would be like, no, no, no. Even when I try to numb my mind, when I'm when I'm like sick, this won't work. This one, like, no, don't have that kind of mentality. Have like fight. You see, it's not. Some people think in a way that makes them lose. Because when someone tells you something, even if it works, your mind automatically looks for reasons why it shouldn't work, right? Like, even if it really does work, you're like, it won't work because of this and that. Imagine a scenario where this and that, you might not even be in that situation. So you must be willing to free yourself from suffering. Some people think that them being able to free themselves from suffering means that they were doing something wrong all along. No, it means that you are in a trap that you need to, not necessarily in a trap, but yeah, that's how it feels, and you need to escape this trap, and you can. And it really does matter how you think. It really, really does. Like, if you wanted to suffer right now, you can pause this video. If you wanted to suffer right now, you will suffer. Like, you can pause this video for like 30 minutes and start thinking about how bad things are in your life. Start thinking how you've been victimized. Start thinking about how people have treated you badly. Start thinking about how many times you've tried to do the right things and things didn't work out. You will start suffering. So that really tells you that you can think in a way that can free you, and you can think in a way that will make you suffer more. You might check out Komodo Island. It's very real. I don't know what kind of consciousness has dreamt of that. But we do have dreams where we're in nice places. I've had dreams where I was in nice places. Okay, Magic Zebra. There's made another comment. I have yet to see any compelling evidence that knowing the truth sets you free. Benedictine says that the truth will set you free in almost every video. Repeating something doesn't make it true. I mean, I've given you practical examples of how like the truth can set you free. You might hate this example about relationship, but if you're in a relationship with a person and they didn't love you and you knew that they didn't love you, that sets you free. If you're in a relationship with a person who doesn't love you and you believe that they love you, then you will, maybe even if they're not treating you the way that you want to be treated, you're gonna believe that they love you, and you will still want to make the relationship work. If you are in a world where things are not making sense and you believe that, hey, things are not making sense because I'm not doing the right things, you still be attached to that world. You still be attached to that world, right? But if you realize that no, this world is just messed up, like it has nothing to do with me not understanding how it works or anything like that. The world itself is just messed up. That will set you free. That will make you realize that you need to detach yourself from a lot of things. So knowing the truth will set you free in any situation. Maybe you're talking about you just being disappearing from this reality. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you being too attached. We become too attached to things that we don't really understand because of how we view these things. So sometimes, like for an example, in a relationship, you might become attached to someone because of how you view them. So you think this person is a very good person, so you are attached to them because you believe they're a good person. But you know, even if they're not a good person, so knowing that they're not a good person can help you detach yourself. I mean, if you're still gonna like be attached to someone that is really not a good person, who doesn't care about you, then I don't know. All right. Responding to one last comment, Danielu. I appreciate your work and your thoughtfulness, but I am starting to question your conclusions. I love that. Okay, one. So we have to have a super painful dream just so that we believe it. Why does it matter if we believe it? Why is that worth it? It's not worth it. And it doesn't benefit us to believe that the dream is real. It benefits the AI. It benefits God. So suffering isn't working for us. It's working for God. It's working for the AI. It's working for what is controlling this reality. It's working for the matrix. When people are suffering, they take things too seriously than when they are not suffering. Like when you are in pain, if something happened and you found yourself in deep pain, that's when you like take everything serious. Like you focus on the pain and it's real. I remember someone commented and said, hey, I see that you're saying that it's a dream, but what makes me feel like it's not a dream is pain. And that is 100% true. Suffering, you feeling pain, that's when you take it seriously. Is it? That's the thing. So it doesn't mean that pain is necessary for reality to exist, but for this reality to exist, because you are supposed to not really wake up and see things as they really are. Pain is what is actually keeping you from actually seeing things as they really are. 2. Something is harvesting our pain energy. Who or what is that? What are they using it for? And do we want to keep providing it? Why should we? No, that's a good question. This reality might have been structured in a way that it seems like everything feeds off something else. Like you have to eat in order to feel powerful. Like that's part of the storyline. That's what you're supposed to believe happens in this reality. So you might find that we giving energy to something that it seems to be higher than us isn't really what is happening, but it's what we're supposed to believe to justify our existence, because that's really what makes sense. I mean, there are people who have had NDEs and who are saying that that's actually what is happening. I have been in situations where I'd like stress a lot and be angry, and I would feel like I lost a lot of energy. I would feel weak, and something good will happen that day. It's like I've given a lot of energy away. Now I'm just weak, and then something good happens. So it's kind of practical in some way, but also you can also look at it this way: the more you take this matrix seriously, the more you keep it alive, right? The more you take the dream seriously, the more like you keep on dreaming. Like you're focusing so much on the things that are happening. The more you watch something, the more you give your energy to it. The more it starts to have power over you in some way, right? The things that you feel like are important These are the things that have power over you. Oh, the battery is low. Let me try to answer your last question. Do we want to try to battle our way out of a dream as a dream character, raising our vibration in a dream? The dream character's discernment is severely compromised. We believe all sort of nonsense. Shouldn't we try to wake up the dreamer rather than trying to empower the dreamer character? Okay, popping up the dream character just seems to continue the painful dreams. And who and what does that ultimately benefit? um if you just woke up like that, like that, there's a chance that you find yourself in another dream, and you might not have learned a lot of things. I think it's better to learn as much as you can, or to develop the right kind of character that you need to keep on uh, waking up. But that is a very good point that you're making. But I think it is important to learn as much as you can. I think if you have done the right kind of work that you need to do, you should reach a level of consciousness where things really do not bother you. And if you can reach that level of consciousness, I don't think you can forget, even when you exit the dream. Because that's the thing, like, you're right when you say we believe all sort of things, but I think if we can develop the right kind of character, it won't be easy to forget how to be. But if you just wake up before you develop the right kind of character, you might not be ready for what's next, right? You might not be ready to battle what you need to battle next. So that's how I look at it. But like I keep on saying, like, you shouldn't take what I'm saying as absolute truth. I just think we need to learn how to think, because people don't know how to think right. Thank you all, guys.